is my most challenging MFO case for today. I have no disclosure, and MFO or Kona MF was first implanted by Dr. Nagesh in India 2013, and in Malaysia we first implanted in 2016. And so far, I find this is a very easy to use device. It's friendly with very low profile, using only small delivery sheet, 4 to 6 French, and it's a very soft device. We have not encountered any complete hard block, and you can also deploy anti-gradely or retrogradely. So we don't find many disadvantages, but we think that if it's a soft device, sometimes it's very difficult to deploy in a position you cannot pull too hard. And we also find 2 cases of mild RVOT obstruction due to the disc. And because it can be mounted screw either way, we have also the operator that actually mounted the other way when we actually deploy the device the other way around. So this is the advantage sometimes can be a disadvantage. So the device actually can fit snugly in most of the morphological VSD, as Tim described. Beautiful, it looks beautiful. Yeah. In perventricular, in apical VSD using MFO is a very nice device, fit the apical VSD very nicely. And in this patient, we put 3 devices: ASD, muscular VSD, and MFO with good results. So the most challenging talk for me today is to find a case which is most challenging MFO case. In fact, it's none. But anyway, I have to search to my data bank and managed to find one very close. So this is a 23 years old lady, underlying Down syndrome, referred from adult cardiology in 2014. She was diagnosed at birth with a VSD and asymptomatic. She actually represents a national bowling as a bowling player for Special Olympic for Malaysia. So physical examination were unremarkable with a classical PSM murmur at lower sternal age. Echo show mild cardiomegaly with cardiothoracic ratio of 0.5 with mild rhetoric lung field. And echo, I show you, this is apical 4-chamber view. It's not moving. Okay, it measures about 8.4 millimeter. And again, this one shows long axis view and about 8.1 millimeter. And you can see in short axis view, the exit in RV is 7.1 millimeter. So gradient across is 69 millimeter mercury, and we actually attempted this device for device closure in 2016, 2 years after follow-up, and we put in ADO 10-8 device. It slipped out, and we attempted again with the 1210, and the device looks awful, and we shamefully put up the device and follow this patient up. So subsequently, moms refused for surgical operation. We subsequently advised for another VSD attempt with more devices under my shelf. So we consider again to plan for VSD device closure. It was a TEE. It was done. Sorry, the thing not moving very well. So you can see there's actually possibly multiple exits from this VSD. To at least 2 you can see now in the RV, and this is 90-degree view. And maybe 120 you can see more clearly that there's aneurysmal tissue with actually 2 or 3 exits from the RV side. So the measurements are about 13 millimeter in the LV side, and this one 5.8 millimeter in this view, and about 15 millimeter or 6.7 in the RV side. Here it measures about 12 millimeter in the LV side and 7.1 millimeter in the RV side. So this is the LV angiogram. It shows this is alveolocranial. And this is lateral view, straight lateral. You can see this is an aneurysmal sac with possibly the biggest defect in the middle, superior small defect, and probably a small one below as well. So it measures about 21 millimeter in the LV side and 6 to 7 millimeter on the RV side. So what device should we use? Oops, yes. 1412 MFO. Yeah, you think this is MFO? We need to use 14 here. Retrogradely. Oh, okay. Any more suggestion? One more? No, huh? All right. Sorry, I didn't take your device because I've used 1210 before, but I think by just upgrading 2 mm, it probably won't help that much. So I actually put in the BFM 16.8, the largest BFM coil, probably as a scaffold to close one or two of the defect first, and then we put in another sheet across. I don't want to do it retrogradely because I want to position the defect into the aneurysm, and possibly probably need to use more than one device. So I attempted to use 9.7. The device just slipped despite careful pulling back the device. So it's upgraded to 10.8 MFO device in. So you can see there's still a small residual VSD flow across superiorly. And you can see the TE, there's small residual shunt here. And you can see still here in this view, there's a small residual shunt superiorly to the device. And it's just a small shunt. So the question would be, should we put in another device in, 3 devices in the same patient cause, and also this is just a small residual VSD. So after much consideration, we think that this is a small shunt, possibly it might seal off, and it is just above the device, unlikely to cause any problems. So we release this device, and the next day we actually put in we actually repeat the TE, actually show just a tiny shunt across the device here, and we were quite happy. But however, the next day afternoon, this patient developed urinary retention, and we have to put in a catheter drainage, and this was this patient developed hemolysis with hemoglobinuria. So the next day actually is clear up a bit. We make sure you good urine output with good hydration, and it's actually, and post-op day 3 we are thinking whether we should send this patient to cath lab again for another device closure, a 3rd attempt. And however, it's clearing up again, and over the long weekend it's actually totally resolved. So we discharge this patient post-procedure day 8, and we could follow up actually show a small residual BSD. So I think this is my most challenging MFO case because we failed the initial attempt in 2016. We have to put multiple devices, including MFO inside, and also a small tiny residual VSD on follow-up, and this patient developed hemolysis. So, but resolved, and I think maybe 2 years down the line, if the VSD still persists, maybe I can put in MFO2 or MFO2AS. With that, I thank you for your kind attention. 谢谢大家。
Thank you, DT. Thank you.